guys, and welcome back to Adulting Anonymous. And I'm excited to have one of the women I totally adore. Her name is Miss Shanim Katha. Did I say it correctly?
Yes. Don't worry, I respond to anything that sounds remotely familiar. So go ahead. I don't think there's a right way to say it, but coming from you, anything sounds right.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so for just a little introduction on this awesome lady. So I met her when I was doing my articles at one of the big firms, as we're both qualifying to be chartered accountants, and then she qualified before me. But she's always been like a ray of sunshine, like a ray of light. Always with the positive vibes, always guiding these little girls that come after her. So before we get into what we'll be talking about today, I just want her to tell us a brief summary about herself, and then we'll take it from there.
Hey guys, it's Shanim Katha, however you want to say it. Like I said to Kutsai, there's no right way of saying it. So just a brief background on me, as Kutsai has already introduced the both of us. I had the privilege of completing my articles during the time she did as well. So we had the privilege of working together on one of our clients, and as we worked, we got to know each other and we got to share our life experiences as well. And the more we got to know each other, the more we realized that we have so many passions that we both share outside of work. And so we developed this beautiful relationship. And it brings us to this point in time today where we're both exploring different sides of ourselves. And we're really finding out who we truly are and sticking to our truth, because we've learned in life that it's not just about the title that makes you who you are, but really living your truth is something that makes you who you are. And so we're hoping together we can share a message today regarding mental health and just overall well-being with everyone, given what's happening around people who are facing anxiety, society in general who just is having a lot of mental issues at the moment, lots of people suffering from depression, lots of teenagers committing suicide. So today is going to be quite an open topic. By no means am I anyone who's preaching that there's right or wrong, guys. So please forgive us. We are not here to say that everything we speak about is 100% right. It's us just expressing our opinions, hoping that it might just help someone who's been in a situation. We have realized that coming together and sharing a voice might actually help someone, because we've noticed that people are very conscious and very shy because they think that they're going through something on their own. And we want you to know that we're here to create a community, and when we stand together, we rise together. And that's exactly what we want to do. We're hoping from our experiences, and our pains, guys. No one's perfect. We've been through the motions. We want our pain to be messages from you, and we want you to be pioneers of your future, not victims of your past.
I love her. You see why I have her here? Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. So like Shah mentioned, we'll be talking about mental health, and we're going to dive a bit into mental health in the corporate space, because that's what we both have experience in, and then we'll just speak about it in general. So I think our point of departure would be basically to people that actually don't know what mental health is. What would you say is mental health in general, like from a general perspective?
To be honest with you, Kazai, and just sitting and having this discussion, I think mental health is such a broad topic. I don't think there's a set definition, but for me, it encompasses the way you lead your life. I think mental health is just being aware and being fully present, understanding what narratives and what stories you're running in your head to realize that what actually is true and what isn't true. So often we grow up thinking that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, and those things then become the life we lead. So I think it's very important to take time to sit with yourself and think about things. And this is where I think Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy are now moving and merging together, because scientists and neurologists are realizing that it's not just putting people on medication that's going to help them. It's about people being fully present, because when you're fully present, that's the only thing that's real.
That's real.
The current moment. And when you're fully present, you don't give yourself or your mind time to be anxious or time to be depressed. When you think about the past, you become depressed. When you think about the future, you become anxious. You're preempting things that haven't happened. So then you start telling yourself a story, and then you create this emotion. And the emotion is then what creates this uneasiness. And I've learned through my life journey and all the reading I do, because this has always been a passion of mine outside of work and outside of work, health, wellness, and and fitness in
Fitness,
general.
yes.
They shouldn't be seen as separate
Holistic.
silos.
Yes.
Exactly, it's a holistic approach to your life, so you can be better, so you can show up for yourself. But it goes back to all the stories you've told yourself, perhaps from a childhood as well. I don't know if you know of an author that I'm very a big fan of. His name is Joe Dispenza, and he speaks about those crucial years. I think when you were born till the age of 8, you actually inherit the stories that your parents tell you. So, for example, every fear that your parents have gone through is something you then inherit. But after the age of 8 is when you actually develop your own. But there's certain things that your subconscious mind still keeps
from what you've been taught by your parents.
Exactly. So what you've been taught from your parents. So perhaps maybe your mom or dad said something to you when you were younger, and now it's stuck in your subconscious mind. For example, they could have said, by no means am I blaming anyone's parents. Let me just clarify. No parent is wrong. But I do think it is important the language you use, because the language you use shapes the life you lead. So parents may only teach their kids from the level of their presence and the level of their knowledge. So unfortunately, sometimes they may say something that perhaps your subconscious mind then, you know, interprets as you not being good enough, you not being worthy, you not being lovable. And then as you grow up as an adult, these things start to manifest in your life. So you're not even aware of it. But guys, that's not the be all end all, I promise you. When you become fully present, okay, when you start meditating, when you learn to sit with yourself, when you take time out of your day to make sure you're okay, when you check in with yourself, these things can all be retrained and reprogrammed. But you got to be willing to put in the work. If you keep doing the things you've always done, you're gonna keep seeing the same results. It's like Einstein says, what got you here is not gonna get you to another place. So you need to take some time for yourself. And I promise you, when you start doing that, you'll feel better. You'll show up for yourself, and when you show up for yourself, you'll be better for it, not only for you, but for the people that you come into contact with. For example, you could be having a bad moment, okay? And I say moment because people often make the bad moment a bad day. And I'm here to clarify that a bad moment is not a bad day. It's just the story you tell yourself. If you don't like the story, change the story you're telling yourself. Take the energy. Energy is everything. That's all emotion is. It's energy in motion. And when you become aware of the energy that you are and the being you are more able to focus your attention on the energy and the person you want to be. And when you start speaking about it, you start speaking from it. Wow. I hope that makes sense. I get carried away. I'm so passionate about these things. Stop me, please.
Oh my God. I love how you dived into how we should pull ourselves to ourselves and do a more like self-introspection, like check in with yourself. And it's not just once every month or once every week, every single day that you must do this to pull yourself towards yourself and then assess what you need to do. It's more like taking an inventory of yourself, your feelings, where's your mind at this point in time. So going back to that, I just want to ask, so I'm going to talk about a certain experience that I had, and I want to, because like you mentioned, it's a very broad topic. Like we can talk about mental health until kingdom come, but then I want to talk about what I went through and possibly just try to see what I could have done better in that situation, knowing what I know now and what you can help me with. So obviously being in the corporate space, I worked in London and I met this manager who basically was not involved in a task that I was given. And then I did what I had to do, and towards the end she decided to show up. You know how it works in corporate. And I'm going to try to be as vague as possible just to like make it relatable. But basically towards the end they come back and then they have demands. How do you, because you said some of the things that we face is because of the things that our parents teach us or what our parents have installed in us. But what happens when you experience, let's say, anxiety, which is in my case, and that anxiety is from an external force that you did not preempt? Like you're minding your own business and someone comes from nowhere and the next thing, bam, someone projects their own fears, their own pressures onto you, and you have to deal with this as an individual. So I just want to ask, so when the factors are external. How do you go about filtering what that person actually expects of you and still managing to perform at your optimal being? How do you do that?
I think you answered just at the end of that question. You need to ask yourself what makes you the optimal being. In saying yes, there's also power in saying no, my love. Okay? Knowing your worth is step number one. Knowing what you're capable of is another thing. And I think if there's open communication, there shouldn't be a problem. Like you just said it, you can either be walking in the direction of fear or the direction of love. Marianne Williams says it best. She wrote a book based on the Course of Miracles. I highly recommend the book. I'm a very spiritual person and it's very Bible based, but there's lots of teachings in the book and stories that make so much sense in everyday life. So if you guys ever want to just open yourself up and you have an open mind, please do read the book. I think it's powerful lessons. Coming back to the question though, it's important to understand that people will come from the level of their consciousness and awareness.
Yes.
Okay? So if someone came to you in a condescending or a very aggressive manner, number one, Don Miguel says it best. Don't take it personally. It's got nothing to do with you. That person is coming from such pain. You actually want to show them more compassion because they feel that they need to speak to you in a downward or derogatory manner.
They speak to you like
in order to make themselves feel better. So you recognize that they're coming from an ego perspective and they're not coming from a higher self. And when you start to reframe and reanalyze it in that perspective, you'll realize that if something costs you a piece, it's too expensive, my angel. It's too expensive. I'm sorry. I don't know about you, but I only want to pay for things that I want. And it's okay. We do find this. I don't know, I make it sound easy. It's not.
It's not.
But it's about being conscious and aware. And through meditation is how you become conscious and you become so aware that you realize that this is just another story. You can choose to interpret the way you want. It's all about your level of perception. You can either see it as a miracle when you change your perception and you start to ask yourself the questions. Okay, cool. So she's coming from this perspective. How can I see this differently? It's got nothing to do with me, number one. I'm still going to make sure that I have the level and the reputation that I wanted to have for myself. So my work is not going to be compromised because another person's coming from fear. I want to walk in the direction of love. So what would love do? Love would be forgiving, number one, and not taking it personally. Understanding that she might be going through something, and that's fine. That's no excuse for her to treat you badly. I'm not saying that someone should treat you badly, but at the same token, you should know your worth. Where if you do need to put the boundaries in place, which is often what needs to happen, you will do it in the most compassionate and respectful manner. Because remember, when you disrespect someone else, it says more about the relationship you have with yourself than it does with the other person. Okay? And I don't know about you, but I have a very good relationship with myself, and I love myself. And I want my actions to depict that. And if my actions are not depicting that, then that means I need to do some more introspection.
Were you always like that? Did you always have a great relationship with yourself?
No.
Because I feel
every day I work on my relationship with myself.
Because I feel like I'm constantly transitioning into
growth.
Exactly.
Growth is every day. I have the moments where I'm like, oh no, I don't think I look pretty today. And then I stop myself and I look in the mirror and I'm like, no ways.
You hottie.
I'm gonna say what Louise Hay says. I love you.
Exactly.
I really, really love you. If there's so many other people that are hating you, why must there be another person that hates me
Why
as well?
add on to the list?
Exactly. When you start to love yourself, others automatically will love you because you become such an energy and force of love. People can't help but want to be around you guys. The energy you keep with yourself is the energy and the people you will attract in your life.
And you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. So you got to keep your own. No one's going to do the work for you. You got to keep the cup full. If you like an espresso, guys, you got to make sure you want damn good espresso. That's all I'm saying.
I love that.
And every day the espresso will get better. That's all. No one's perfect, but knowing that no one's perfect, a little bit every day is going to take you a long way. And you'll even see the small changes in you. People will see changes in you. You'll wake up excited for the beautiful life you've been blessed with, and you'll never take anything for granted, I promise you.
That is
It's a beautiful thing to be alive.
It's a beautiful day to be alive.
Today is the day, and you're gonna say, this little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine.
Exactly. I wake up singing that song, and even some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to take on this day, but then I realize, like, wow, okay, I'm alive. It's another day to share my gifts with the world. What am I going to do? And I tell myself stories every single day, every single minute. Don't you worry. And yes, I am crazy. And I'm very proud of it. Thank you. Because I know this, eh?
And that's why every time you're sad, you'd be like, what would Shanim do?
I have those moments. Yes,
You
sometimes when I have those sad moments, I'm like, wow, okay, what am I doing? I'm telling myself a story that's making me feel this way. So what do I need to do? I need to change the story.
And you're right.
And
Because I think part of my anxiety was basically me preempting when I get to work, she's going to say this, she's going to do that, and it's all things that haven't happened. So when I bring it to what you're saying about,
things that means you're not fully present.
Exactly.
You're not enjoying the now.
Exactly.
And God totally says it.
But how do you enjoy the now when someone has just scolded you and you're like literally shattered? Like I used to work on Fridays at 11 p.m. knowing very well she wasn't going to look at my work or anything, but because I was just crippled by fear, I was crippled by what she could do to me, which is basically nothing if you look at it, but she was going to shout at me. So I wasn't okay if I wasn't sitting in front of the laptop. And that's how bad and I'll just cry. So I'd be like working and I'll be crying. I'll be like, oh my gosh. But then how do you master being present when you're crippled by so much fear and so much, how a person has just treated you? Because you mentioned meditation, and in that moment you don't think, oh my gosh, let me go take my mat, let me go lay down. You don't think like that. You want to you want to get what she wants done. And for me, that's how I operate. Once I have what you want, then I can relax, if that makes sense.
I understand, but remember, meditation is not all about laying down. It's being aware. And bringing it back to awareness, you understand that, one, you have emotions. And if she's shouting at you, you're going to feel that emotion of panic. But you are not your emotions. And you are going to recognize that you are a separate being from your emotions. And when you see them as two separate entities, you'll realize that is just emotion.
Yes.
Michael Singer says it best. It's flowing through you. You are not that emotion. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. What's not okay is to stay there.
Yes.
Right? Because now you're living your life with a blocked heart and you are living in fear. So you stop yourself from attracting that beautiful light and energy that you are. I told you, and I've said this before, she's coming from a place of fear. That doesn't mean you have to as well.
Exactly.
And then again, it's also important to put the boundary in place.
Yes.
And respect yourself. Just because someone has a higher level of authority does not mean that you are not worthy of speaking up for yourself. And so often we take that someone else, especially in the corporate world, guys, and I've had to learn this the hard way. One of my development points was you need to be more assertive. I used to be a doormat. Okay?
Everyone would be like, do this. You're like, yes.
And I also lived in fear because someone else had authority over me. But I think when you step into your own and you become aware, you develop this confidence. And you're like, that's okay. I'm going to do what I need to do because I am proud of the work that I'm going to perform for someone. At the same token, though, if someone is being unreasonable, I'm going to speak up for myself in a respectful manner.
Yes.
And if that means that you need to ask for or set up time with your manager or someone to discuss something and you feel like you're being treated unfairly, then you need to do it, guys, because if you're not going to put the boundaries in place, people are going to take full advantage of you.
They will.
And then you can't blame them. You got to blame yourself.
I read somewhere that
our very close colleague, Chris,
yes.
Thank you, Chris Lucky, he always did encourage me to be more assertive and to know my worth and to not be, just a doormat. And I have to thank Chris for this. He encouraged me and he gave me the courage. And it's something I'll never forget. I'm always grateful for having him in my life. It's a strange relationship we have, Chris, and I hope you do actually listen to this. But I do love you, and you've supported me, and you've seen my growth even when I didn't. And I'm just grateful for everyone else. Like I said, I've also had weak moments. I do question my own abilities today as well. Nothing's perfect, guys. I also think I'm not good enough, and when I want to start something new, my ego also stops me, because when you want to change something in your life, your ego will want to protect you because it thinks you're in that flight and fight mode. So you're coming from a parasympathetic perspective. When you come from, it's actually sympathetic perspective. When you come from a parasympathetic perspective, you'll see that you come from a place of calm and ease. And then you don't create this disease.
Yes.
This ease.
Yes.
Can you see? Very
Your
important.
wordplay, yay.
Exactly. And
This is
that's why I'm so cognizant of the language you use, because the language you use shapes the life you live.
yes.
And irrespective if someone treated you badly, you don't need to react straight away. If you take time, you will respond.
Yes.
But if you come from a place of anger, you're going to react. And trust me, how many times have you reacted? And then you feel like that wasn't even who you
worth
really
it,
are.
yeah. And then
you berate yourself with these stories you tell yourself, and then you make yourself more angry, and then it's a disaster. Then the working environment becomes unpleasant, when actually it didn't have to be that way, guys. At any given moment, you have the ability to change the way something is going to go, but you need to take accountability. And it's very easy to blame someone else, but only what you're not giving in a situation is what really what's the problem. And it's often so much what we don't like. I hate to admit this to myself as well. Often what we don't like about other people is actually a shadow self that we've disowned in ourselves.
Yes.
So when you start sitting back to take time, you need to ask yourself, okay, sit with a pen and paper, guys. I do it. What does this say about me? Where am I not seeing the light? How can I learn from this? What is this trying to tell me? What is this trying to teach me? Instead of making yourself a victim, make yourself a pioneer of your future. Because trust me, that manager or that person doesn't care about your development.
Yes. They mess you up. They mess you up, and then they go on with their lives like nothing ever happened.
And they still achieve their goals. But here you are telling yourself the same story and you're staying stagnant. Flip and pull it together, baby. Pull it together for you. Because when you pull it together for you, you become a person who's going to pull it together for other people as well. And we have to develop a community.
Yes.
I'm sorry. When we stand together, we stand and we rise together. We don't want to... What is your legacy going to be one day? Oh, yeah, she drove a nice car. Trust me, no one cares what car you were driving. What did you do for someone? How did you serve? What did you come for? What did you do? How did you share the messages of God, higher spirit, consciousness, whatever you want to call it? How did you help someone? I'm sorry, I want to live a life where I leave a legacy behind. If someone wanted to know that when I walked into a room, I left people feeling better, not worse.
Yes.
It's not about the money, guys. I'm
not
not saying money.
People make
exactly. How you leave people is how you lead your own life as well. I'm not saying money is not a great thing. It's fantastic. It can buy you temporary happiness. But what gives you joy? Breaking bread with other people, sharing a meal, taking time to be fully present, smelling the roses, enjoying the ride, enjoying the music, losing yourself in the moment. It's such a beautiful, pure thing. And so often, as adults, we forget about this. So we create this anxiety because we're thinking of all the responsibilities. But just take a step back. Just breathe. Just breathe. That's all you need to do. When you take a deep breath, you are fully present. As children, they are so fearless. Yes. Don't you remember when you were a child, you would just want to jump off every building and be excited about life? Don't you want to wake up the same way? Why, as adults, do we forget what it's like to be like living in a state of wonder? It's important to ask yourself that. Don't forget who you really are. And that's taking yourself back to the noble truth. Living a life of love. Pure consciousness. Guys, you will never fully get there. But if you're aware every single day, you're one step closer. And that's with anything in life. Gotta be forgiving to yourself as well. Some days are never going to be great, and I have them too as well, and I also want to berate myself. But then I take a step back and I'm like, I'm projecting wrong because I'm looking at how far I have to go, not how far I've come. And I'm actually proud of the person I've become. I don't need approval from other people if I have my own approval. And I've had to learn it the hard way. Because I was a person when I was younger who wanted to be liked by everyone. When someone said something bad about me, I would cry about it, thinking that other people's opinions matter. As I've grown into who I am and become proud of who I am, I'm not perfect, and that's also perfect. My imperfections are perfect for me. Yes. I'm doing me. I'm staying in my lane for me.
Running your own race at your own pace.
I only want to be better than the person I was yesterday. And that is enough. I am enough.
So for what I took away from this is we just need to be aware of ourselves. We need to be aware of how we feel. We need to be aware of what we can do, set expectations, say no.
There's so much.
There's so much, yeah.
We've touched on very few things, and I'm sure we'll perhaps
have a second episode, yeah.
But we just wanted to maybe also get some feedback from you guys in terms of what you want us to direct maybe the next time we sit on the cloud. With Sean, please do tell us
what you want to hear from us,
okay,
what we should do better.
Yes, what should be done better. And like you said, we're just here to try and make a difference with the things that we currently have in our lives. And we are not always going to get it right. We're going to get it wrong. But, at least we're taking a bit of courage, and in order for other people to grow, we are putting ourselves on the line here and sharing our
Yes. So we're like the guinea pigs.
exactly. So
if you
be
have any
easy,
questions,
be gentle. Be gentle with those words, please.
yeah, so tell us what you want to hear from us. Any questions you have for Shah? If you want to hear more from her, she is a ray of sunshine. I told you, I did warn you though.
She's really good.
I warn
paid her
you.
to say that, by the way.
I did warn you. So if you want to hear more from Shanim, please comment in the different sections what you want to hear from her, and yes, we'll be back with another episode with Shanim, and we really hope this was useful. We hope you have a lot to take away from, and to understand that you're not alone. As you navigate through the corporate spaces, that people do go through different events and emotions, and that there is a way of dealing with it that can still help you stay sane, and more importantly find yourself and grow, as well as transition into a better you, basically.
For you, exactly.
Exactly.
And just to reiterate what Kutai said, so I'm currently working on my website as well, so I can have coaching sessions with people. But if you do want to contact me and you feel like there's something going through, you're welcome to. My Instagram handle is mindfully Shah. You're welcome to follow me there. I am on Facebook as well, not as active, so you can find me on Facebook under Shanim Katha, but I do try and respond to all messages, so you're welcome to contact me, and you can book a session with me as well, because I have coaching material and coaching courses that I can help you with in any direction, because I believe that holistic living is very important. So like I said, I'm pursuing my passion and hoping to help you as well.
Yay! And it's very important to actually do these things, because if you can go and buy yourself a bag, you can invest in yourself by taking up coaching
I think
sessions.
You also need to ask yourself,
Yes.
Is the bag really going to serve you? How?
How temporary or how permanent is that fix?
Until you go and buy another one.
It's
an addiction, right?
Yeah, it does.
So you're buying bags to hide the pain you're really going through. When you start embracing the pain, it has less power over you. And then you walk past the bag, guys. You won't even want the bag, because you are worthy. You're not defined by the things you own.
So please do book Shah. Go book your session with Shanim. But like I said, let us know what you think, and we'll be back. Thank you so much for listening.
Cheerio!